I mean, it's insane to think that blood flow restriction, what does it improve your immune system by 162, 63%? Like I needed my immune system back. Like all the supplements I was like, all the things weren't, they got me to a certain point, but nothing else was working anymore. We know that exercise gives you stress and puts stress on the body. Well, the bands don't. So you get all the biggest bang for the buck without the stress in a quarter of the time. It's not even half the time, it's a quarter of the time.
Hey, everybody. I am here today with Allie McWilliams, our personal training guru, and she is here today to tell us her story. I have some questions because she's got a very interesting story in her health journey, and I thought it was important for all of you to just get a handle on where'd she come from, how'd she get here, why now, and then the role that we're kind of unveiling with a lot of the Q&A with nutrition, and this may tie in some of the story that Allie has, so you can kind of see where those dots connect. So Allie, first of all, thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We've known each other, as many people may already know, if not, for roughly 20 plus years,
Yeah,
right
watch
around
out.
2005, right?
That sound right? Yeah.
2005, yeah, when we sold our other practice and started a new one down here in Madison. You're a personal trainer, very knowledgeable in the industry. Tell us about your start there and then where things kind of started to shift with your health picture that you noticed. Do you want to
Yeah.
start with the COVID? Do you want to start with 2023 or do you want to start further back?
I think we should just dive in and start with 2023
Okay,
of,
that's perfect. That was a huge time for you, right?
yeah, like 2023 was, well, even before that, just going through perimenopause. Well, being in the fitness industry for years, that's one whole story. And then going through perimenopause right when COVID was going on. This is new territory for so many of us is the hormones are changing and then you get COVID. And so there weren't very many answers or very much help out there. So having all these symptoms from perimenopause, having most of them very severely, I was really struggling in 2023. Major brain fog, inflammation. And I heard God say last year, I want you to walk. I just want you to walk. And so I know people poo poo walking, but it is life giving for your brain and your soul. And I wasn't gaining weight, but I was still feeling inflamed. And I was putting in like 20, 25 miles. I was feeling pretty good for the most part, but I kept hearing, you need to lift heavy weights. You know, the world was telling me that. I knew that in the fitness industry, like lift heavy, do hit, high intensity interval training, do sit training, sprint interval training. And so the moments that I would choose to do that and not be obedient and listen to what God told me, I paid for it. I was sore for days. I felt terrible. My legs felt like they were 100 pounds each. So I didn't listen because I was trying to do the right thing, I'm saying in air quotes, but it wasn't right for my body at the time. And so then, it's August 2024 right now. I'm 53 years old. Last year of November, I was feeling terrible. And then I got hit with COVID and I got hit. And I'm a healthy person. I'm mentally strong. I'm spiritually strong. I've dealt with my trauma from my past and I have great friends and I love what I do. And I eat clean and I exercise and I can have lower stress. And I got nailed, right? Everyone's like, there's got to be some health issue that you're, why this would happen, right? The whys. But so it just took me down where I couldn't talk. I couldn't, and it's 10 months later and I'm still not 100%. And so I, we had canceled Thanksgiving. So November was wiped out last year. Christmas, I had a rally. Our son brought home who might be our future daughter-in-law. So I had to rally and put on my personality type and make it an awesome Christmas for everyone. And I got through that, but it probably wasn't good for me. And then I started feeling a little bit better. And what did I do? I did a HIIT workout, and that just laid me out. I was like, I relapsed and went right back into all the COVID again. And then it kept going. I got bronchitis, and then I got sinusitis. And so it was just month after month after month of being sick. And then February of this year is when the pit of hell really started. Is I woke up one night and I couldn't breathe, and I had extreme heart palpitations, and my blood oxygen level was dropping, and I felt like I was going to pass out. And I knew I wasn't having a heart attack. Like I know I'm healthy mentally, physically, spiritually. So I knew it wasn't that. But then I ended up going to a cardiologist and doing all the testing, and they were, you know, completely at a loss because everything came back great. I mean, I did have like a heart monitor where I did have up to 240 beats per minute. So ideally, that's not really great. Um, but they didn't have any answers, right? So I'm trying to find answers to help me. And I did a Dutch test, which some people know what that is. And that just told me that everything was flatlined. Adrenals were at the lowest, cortisol was at glucose, everything was at the bottom. And they just wanted to give you supplementation to help. And so we live here in St. Louis now, and I was blessed to find a doctor who locally works with COVID, long COVID, and other issues that people have. And she was able to help me at least find the spike protein, get me in hyperbaric oxygen chambers, some IV therapy, and was helping me. But I was only getting helped to a certain point. And why I get to be the unique person all the time, I'm always the one where they're like, yeah, we've never seen heart pulps like and she comes from like surgery and ER, and like she comes from the medical world, and now just has more of her own root cause practice and mixes great medicine with holistic. And she's like, I've never seen anything like this. And I'm like, gosh, why do I have to be the special one of this? And so she helped a little bit, but it was so bad. Like I spent January through April, 70% of the time in bed. I felt, no offense to 95-year-olds, but I felt like a 95-year-old. I could slowly get out of bed. I had to put my head down and literally shuffle just to get to the bathroom and pray that I didn't pass out, and then shuffle back. Like I don't know how many days I went without brushing my teeth or washing my hair, or just to make a beeline to the kitchen to make a meal and lay in bed and eat it, because I had such my heart pulps were really bad, lightheadedness, feel like I was always going to pass out. And so like I was losing hope. Like I was in tears many times, on my knees, and really struggling. And I know you reached out to me a couple times, and you're like, you really need to get these B3 bands. Like you are starting to use them. It's like you need them for your immune system. And I had no capacity. I couldn't even handle noise. I couldn't handle listening to music or watching TV or any noise. My body I still don't grocery shop. It's still just too hypersensitive um, to energy around me. And I couldn't even get on the computer to read anything that you sent me or to figure it out. So that's what was so great about finding a doctor who helped me with COVID, that I was able to at least be vertical and grab my computer and sit in bed and look at the B3 bands.
So can we talk about that briefly? Like that
You
doc,
bet.
that doctor, what do you mean that could help you with COVID? What was different about this doc than traditional medicine most people are aware of?
Well, and that's what's great is, she was traditional for so many years. And then she was also, has done gut health things. And when 2020 happened, she just saw things differently. Um, and she got fired actually from where she was working because of her belief system. And she just chose to help people. She just saw a certain path and was able to help people. And she had such a high success rate of working with COVID and long COVID people and other people. Um, and I'm just glad she was 15 minutes down the road. So she just saw that, she knew what to do to bind the spike protein, areas to help support your body, what really was COVID. She just saw it differently. And yeah, it was really helpful. And she has lots of cancer patients. She just blends everything together. So
Yeah, very cool. And I think that's worth, making the distinction about the type of provider you sought because you were doing something that was not mainstream. More of these docs who broke out on their own had to leave the system to actually do the work that they found more helpful, more effective, more natural, but actually, bottom line is more effective, right? At supporting and looking at the big picture of what long COVID or long haul actually was. And then there's the vax, long vax, which is, again, those who were vaccinated dealing with the chronic COVID as a result of that. But just to be clear, this is long COVID.
yes, this is long COVID.
So now,
Hmm.
we started talking about the bands. You had gotten to a point. So correct me if I'm wrong on my memory with this is I remember saying, Allie, we got to get you into the bands. And it was kind of like,
Yeah.
how am I going to do these bands when I can barely get up and be up for a full day and you want me to work
Oh.
out? And I said,
That's That's what's so great about the BFR bands, right? By B3 is the immune system. Like you just need to get in them. First, I think you said 3 minutes, and I'm like, I could only get in them a minute. Like that's what's really sweet about this is I'm not coming at this from I'm some fit, energetic fitness trainer, and you need to get these BFR bands. I get to come at it from a place of the pit of hell and in the roughest physical shape I've ever been in my entire life of weakness, and I could only be in the bands for a minute. A minute is all I could be in. And there's some days the hard thing for me with the bands is they increase your heart rate. I can't have my heart rate increase, because it just kicks in. I can't be hot. So I have to have the air conditioning on and fans on. And there's days I just laid in bed and put the bands on my legs and would just do leg lifts because once I figured out that I started to feel better, all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, I feel a little bit better. I have a little more energy. I'm sleeping, like I sleep well, but I'm sleeping deeper. Like just noticing that I was feeling better and I could, like my throat, you can still, it's still not 100%, but like my throat was so strained last year or this year. Like even my husband, I would be like, can you please not make me repeat myself? Like I was getting so mad because I'm like, I need you to hear me because I can't repeat myself. Like talking was really straining. I'm an extrovert. I'm a people person. It's like I don't want to be around people. I couldn't talk to people. And so my voice is when that's what's been so great about the bands is like people can see like, ooh, in 4 weeks after being on it, then in 8 weeks, on 12 weeks, like everything has just gotten stronger. And so it just gave me hope. And that's what I want to do with these bands is give hope back into your body. Like that's what it did for me. It was my lifeline of hope back into my body. Like, thank you, Jesus. It's stuff that's already in us. The nitric oxide, the human growth hormone is already in there. This is just it's not easy to do per se, but it's easy and light, right? It's something for everybody. That's what I love about it. And it's improved my immune system and has just it's changed everything. It's changed
do you, do
how I
you
work out. Yeah.
Do you remember what we talked about right when you started? And the interface, I think, is worth discussing at in detail for people to really get because we know other personal trainers don't always get this. It goes right over their head, or they don't see the application, or they're too time load volume, historic
Mm,
personal training slash weight resistance, the
mm,
old model of body, again, time, load, and volume, like the number of reps, the amount of weight, and the failure point. That is really an older model, effective, but there's a lot of stress to the body. And so you being a personal trainer, you knew inherently, and like how am I going to do that when I can't even do this basic function like brush my teeth, be up, stand for much length of time, focus with my brain fog, all this stuff, right? And then, no, you're going to put these bands on and you're going to do what? And then you're supposed to get what as a result of that? And how am I going to know it works? And just tell me about what you like, even the math you were doing in your head is like, but yet you trusted me enough to get them.
Mm.
Do you remember one of the main points I shared with you about why we had to just get you in them for just a small, just a couple minutes a day? In that case, I said maybe 2 to 3 minutes. You were only able to do one.
Yeah.
What was a trigger for you that you finally like, okay, I'm trying to get this out of having these on? What started to click for you?
I needed the blood flow. When I found it out that blood flow, what white blood cells do, immune system, I needed, I mean, it's insane to think that blood flow restriction, what does it improve your immune system by 162, 63%? Like, I needed my immune system back. Like, all the supplements I was like, all the things weren't, they got me to a certain point, but nothing else was working anymore.
Yes, your macrophages and T killer cells. So your macrophages are part of your white blood cell, your immune response. They're cell eaters and defense. They can go up to 163% shown in studies with BFR by just restricting blood flow with some activity. The byproduct in the brain is you have a magnified immune response, and some of that comes by way of nitric oxide.
Mm.
So I'm like, oh my God, she can't exercise. Her immune system's struggling. She needs exercise, but can't do it. How do we get her there? Well, we have a low stress, absolutely zero stress way to get the body all the benefits of exercise without the work. Can you go back now and tell
Thank
us what
God.
you noticed day to day and then week to week in those first, just how did you even get from day one to day two? And then what did you start to notice? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was, I couldn't even handle putting the arm ones on for the longest time because I couldn't, and just the leg ones were the easiest ones. And it was just, all right, you're just going to do a wall sit, you know? Can you just sit and do a wall sit? Um, Maybe just walk around the house with the bands on. And then, and in 3 weeks, because I kept track of everything. In 3 weeks, I was up to 3 minutes. And I had a day where I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like myself. Like I feel normal. I mean, it's ebbed and flowed and up and down, but I was just like, and that's why it's like I knew by listening to you and Dr. Mike about the compounding and why, trying to get in them 6 days a week was so beneficial. I just started feeling better and sleeping better. And it was 1 minute turned into two and then into three. And, um, within a couple months, I was using them as like a workout, even though I couldn't still sweat and have the heart rate. I could still have a real workout. And then it was a whole paradigm shift for me. Like everything that I've been taught in the fitness world, it was like, I can't get this. Like it was still like, okay, this is really simple and easy in life, but I'm still not getting it. Like it took me, like, I think I'm a smart person. Well, I'm not sometimes, but it's like, why is this so hard to get? Oh, this is actually easy and light. It's like it's not supposed to be so. What I'm doing isn't the point, right? It's like I don't have to tear down muscles anymore. It's not about how many reps. It's not about these many back exercises and then this many bicep. Like it's just like all of it I had to throw out the window. But it was like it took me months to wrap my head around it. It's like, what? So
Well,
thank you for your patience and grace.
sure. And one thing I was very proud of you for was actually taking the leap into it, which many will not do if they can't analyze the situation so thoroughly. And we're all different in our perception and application of knowledge and whether, what to do about it, how to use it, how to implement things. But you were open, number one, to hearing the message and getting it. And yeah, you trusted me. And I knew if I could get you in these bands, we could stimulate your immune response to get you over the hump because you had all these other good things going for you. I knew would impact these areas by my research in reading studies, looking at these, learning about it, having a complete my own paradigm shift, and then going, oh my God, if you only could see what I can see here and we get you doing this, you can break through this. So awesome. Fast forward, you feel so much better. You now also work with clients on this. Tell us about what you've learned as a result and how you now are applying this and where your health is, where you think it is, even though you're not 100%.
Yeah, what's great is I got the bands. What did I get the bands in February, March? I got the bands in April. And already I was able to, in May and June, take the certification from B3. So just that my brain was functioning that fast is, I mean, because I had perimenopause brain and then I had COVID brain. Like my husband was a little concerned about me. Like I was not, yeah, I was not functioning well. And so it was great that I was able to take the certification because I was just like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Because let's go back to the beginning of my story. I knew what I needed to do, right? Way back last year. I needed to lift heavy and do a HIIT training, but my body didn't want to. Most of us in perimenopause are dealing with inflammation. And so, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to change. And I thought the way life was kind of going, I thought I was going to be out of the fitness career. I surrendered it all and thought maybe I'm just going to be doing personal development coaching and spiritual growth coaching and no more training. My identity's not in fitness anymore. But then all of a sudden it's like, but I can give this hope to other people. I can help people who are unhealthy or are going through perimenopause. And I can relate to all the women who are, we know that exercise gives you stress and puts stress on the body. Well, the bands don't. So you get all the biggest bang for the buck without the stress in a quarter of the time. It's not even half the time, it's a quarter of the time. And so now I have the certification. I spent the summer redoing my packages and reformatting my business. And now I train totally different, and none of my clients want to go back. The women, it is such a more efficient and effective session because we get to talk about the mind stuff, have some life coaching. They have a hard workout in 15 minutes. And then it's the breathing and their time with God and prayer and the spiritual part. So I get to really do my mind, body, spirit packages in a much more efficient and effective way. Because even back when I was in Madison, I remember clients coming to me and they were maxed out and stressed out. And I knew that if I worked them out, it was going to put more stress on their body. So I would be like, okay, in my heart, I know that we need to just go for a walk and talk. The fresh air, the sunshine, talking helps, it helps their nervous system, all of that. So it was better for them to do it that way. Well, now here it's the same thing. Here's such a great thing that's easy and light that doesn't cause stress and inflammation to your body, but you get all the benefits like you just did an intense workout or a cardio workout. And so now my clients don't want to go back. They're loving their sessions. They feel better. Some of them aren't getting their migraines anymore. It's easy and light for all of us. It's just so much better. And they're getting their own bands. And that's what I like about it. It's like now I get to help. I mean, if for a trainer, you're here to help people get healthier. So to me, it's like here you can just take it and the company can, that's what's great about B3. They're the only ones who has free coaching for 30 days. Like they can help you. Like I'll help you too. You can do one session with me, you can do a package with me, but here you can go and do these all on your own. Like you don't need to go to the gym. You don't have to have a trainer. You can come. Like I'm here to help and serve. I don't you don't need me.
Yeah, that's pretty bizarre that you can actually get a workout in, you said 15 minutes. Uh, I would 100% agree because I can have an intense workout and be done within 16 minutes for sure. And if I'm even more efficient on my between sets, I am spent by then. So it's phenomenal to be able to tap into that. But I mean, your story alone, just coming from the long haul part and then getting
Mm.
your feet under you again, and then now just building, it's been cool to watch. I mean, I'm tickled by how you did get it, and then the fact that you got certified right away. and went through that and just go, of course, I want to get certified to be able to know when and where and how and when not to, and where there's contraindications for this, which there's only a couple contraindications, one being blood clots, thrombosis, um, sickle cell anemia expression, not just the tendency, but the sickle cell anemia expression, and pregnancy. And for the most part, or lymphedema. And that goes along with swelling too. But broken bones are not, heart conditions are not. If you're cleared for exercise by your doctor, which is also the American Diabetes Association, the Heart Association, Cancer Society, there's all the basically heart health and health associations want you to do vigorous exercise. And if you're cleared for vigorous exercise, you're cleared for BFR bands, right? Allie, what else would you like to add for somebody who's going through some problems like you did and struggling? You know, something that you want to pass on to them where they might get hung up.
Yeah, and like you said, it's like I'm not 100% yet, but I am vertical every day and I'm able to do a podcast like this and I'm able to train my clients again. And so I just think it's so great that there's a tool out there that you don't have to, it's not a supplement that you have to keep buying every month. It's a one and done purchase for, I don't know, so I know somebody who's had them for 6 years. Um, and it's something that anyone can do, even if you're not approved for exercise. You can use them just for rehab for a minute. You just people in wheelchairs are like, that's what I love about it is these aren't just for people who want to get fit. These are for kids all the way up to, people in their 90s can use it at all types of different capacities. So it's like if you have a weak immune system or you're struggling with your immune system, like just get the bands. Like you have nothing to lose. There's a 30-day money back guarantee. It's it's the easiest way. Like I got to get rid of hyperbaric, like all the money I'm saving by using the bands. Like I don't have to do hyperbaric anymore. I get way more out of the bands because I eat, wild caught fish and grass-fed beef and the bands. I don't need my omegas anymore. Like I don't have inflammation anymore. And so like if you're whether you're sick or you're in perimenopause, like if you need your immune system improved or if you need brain fog, if you want more energy, if you want to build muscle, if you want to lose some weight, my disc, I couldn't do push-ups last year because I was having, all the things that happen in perimenopause. I was having all these disc things. Like my discs don't hurt at all anymore. Deeper, more refreshed sleep. So I just feel better. And it's such an easy and light way to do it that you can just do it at home. So it's like, I just want people to know that you can have hope in your body again, and there is a lifeline. And it doesn't matter where you are or what age or what weight, or if you're an elite athlete or you're not at all. It's finally something that is light and easy that anyone can do. And they're not $1,300 like in the Japanese ones, right? Like it's not just for elite athletes anymore, or it's not so expensive that you have to go somewhere and get it done anymore.
Very cool. I love it. Anything else you'd like to add? Parting thoughts?
Just thank you. Thank you for thank you, God. You listened to get on the vans when you did, and that you kept persisting that I needed it because it was the only, like, there was no other, I mean, besides God, there wasn't anything else that was helping. I mean, I have all these resources and I have done everything I can do, and it is such a gift. So I just thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. But the other part is you having the willingness to ask, share, but you asked, and I mean, when you shared, hey, I'm struggling over here. Is there anything you could do? Yeah, there's a lot of things I could look at us doing, and some of it you were already doing. You were working with healthcare providers, you were working on holistic labs, you were working on the things you needed to do physiologically and nutrition. We fine-tuned a couple things, and I'm like, this is really your secret if you can't move. If we can stimulate these things, nobody else can do this but you if we can get you exposed to it. So I remember going back to the drawing board to make sure I understood where and how to apply this for you. We need to do this. Look at where the proof is to help her get her feet back under her again, literally speaking. And I'm just so tickled that you responded like you did. And then it was just one day at a time. And we talked about, there was tough days. I said, don't let the bad day that's going to go ahead. You share that part. That was
No, you say it. It's your word.
just, you're going to have bad days. Don't get sucked up into that day. Don't let it rule your day.
Mm.
You're going to have them. Don't let it break your stride. Okay. Just, you know that the next day you're going to bounce back again, but you're going to have rough days in there. Is that how you remember it?
Yeah, don't get lost in the bad days. And that's, just trusting the process. And like you've always said, and like I keep hearing, it's like everything takes as long as it's going to take. There is no time frame. I know in general, like I was even asking Dr. Mike, and it's like, because usually within 12 weeks, people with long COVID feel pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and so yeah, we all have our own journey, we all have our own physiology, but yeah, it's like low and slow and trust the process.
That's beautiful. Yeah, there's something to be said about like the workout. Trusting that process in your body is you are that self-healer, self-regulator,
Mm,
self-maintainer, given the divine spark by God to be able to now we're not trying to override or biohack. We're literally using the body's natural physiology by way of a strategy. And it's the brain stem and the pituitary gland that actually has this response for nitric oxide and then growth hormone. And the body has its own cascade. And that's what was cool is turning that on. Anyway, I
mm,
get tickled with all the science around it because I get into the physiology, the nerdy stuff by way of results. And I'm like, how do we get these awesome results in people and not stress them out, like you said earlier,
mm,
not create the cortisol or the wear and tear
mm,
from someone who's in their 35 and up age where weight resistance training with heavy weights wears and tears on the joints. So you're having all the negatives that try to reach, and match and the positives are supposed to overcome that, but yet you can't do it. And so the rehab aspect that Allie and I are both learning even more and more with people is phenomenal. And to
mm,
the next time we discuss, we can talk about some examples of patient wins. And one of them
mm.
is, I mean, I've seen some great ones the last couple weeks, and they're just fun because there's no other way they could do it.
Right.
Like you, and I use you as an example. You're a part of it to go, this woman couldn't stay out of bed, like couldn't get up and stay out of bed and go through her life. It's like no matter what she was doing, like checking off the boxes that were good and just still not happening. So anyway, I appreciate you.
Right back at you.
Yeah. And thanks for trusting the process and having faith because it's necessary in anything.
Well, and I think too, when you're feeling so bad, you'll try anything. But now it's like it's so great that it taps into something from the inside out. That's what's so great. It's not the outside in job, and it's not more stuff to take. And it seems easy and light. That's what I love.
Cool. Well, thanks again, Allie. Until next time,
Thank you. Shine on.
tell people where they can find you.
AllieMcWilliams.com. That's AlimcWilliams.com.
And her information will be in the show notes. And if you want to look at bands, Allie, you can find her at
Do you want the Allie Fit
yeah,
one or what? Oh, my
alliefit.probe3.com or alliefit, ALIFIT dot b3sciences.com. All that's going to be below. So you want personal training, alliemcwilliams.com, and you'll see both types of training she does, which is personal training, life coaching, and now B3 focus training.
Yeah, I don't even know my links. I'm like, what are my links? I don't know.
That's
All
great. That's awesome. All right. Till next time, folks. Peace and love.
right.
Ciao.